Acts 18:5, Paul devoted himself fully to the word, testifying to the Jews that Jesus is the Christ. Verse 9, one night the Lord spoke to Paul in a vision. Do not be afraid, keep on speaking, do not be silent. Verse 10, for I am with you and no one will lay a hand on you. You know, it amazes how Christians make Satan a big problem, and yet there is no book in the Bible concentrating or dedicated to Satan. Maybe say the book of 1 Jesus 2, title, How to Kick Satan. There is no gospel which takes us through on how Satan and his demons will make us suffer this way and that way, although the Bible highlight these issues. No book in the Bible wholly dedicated demons on how to baptize them with fire, how to forever bind them with spiritual chains. So the main problem is not Satan. The Bible enlightens us on knowledge of God and Jesus Christ, teaches us the spiritual principles which we should operate with, gives us solutions for the problems that we encounter every day in our lives. We study to reflect on ourselves and live by those reflections. By the look of it, we can see that Satan can be taken out of the equation as the primary factor. To console you, you can bring him as a tertiary factor then. We take Satan and his kingdom of darkness not to be a factor in our lives. The factor is the knowledge of God and Jesus Christ and the spiritual principles that we should live by. So lack of knowledge and lack of applications and not living by spiritual principles that God taught us are the factors to being victims of economy, afflictions, Satan's whiplash in our lives, poor health, sufferings for nothing, fear of things happening around us and in the world, overflowing in afflictions and torments, being harassed by the devils, demons, witches, evil spirit and death, torn apart physically and emotionally. Let's us learn from one of the successful servant of Christ, Paul. Paul devoted himself fully to the Word of God. In his devotion to the Word of God, Jesus appeared to him in a vision, to teach him, Paul, to take matters in a higher dimension, to keep on speaking and do not be silent. These words of Jesus are aligned to the following scriptures. 2 Corinthians 4:13, we having the same spirit of faith, according as it is written, I believed and therefore have I spoken. We also believe, and therefore speak. 1 Corinthians 2:12-13, now we have received, not the spirit of the world, but the Spirit which is of God, that we might know the things that are freely given to us of God, which things also we speak. Ezekiel 37:4, and he said to me, prophesy concerning these bones and tell them, dry bones, hear the word of the Lord. Verse 7, so I prophesied as I had been commanded. Joshua 1:8, this book of the law shall not depart from your mouth, but shall meditate in it day and night, for then you will make your way prosperous, and then you will have a good success. That is what Jesus was telling Paul, that the word of God should not depart from his mouth. Paul to never be silent as much as Joshua was never silent. It Joshua's tongue that ushered him in land that flowed with milk and honey. The message of being vocal keeps coming up as we progress through chapters of the Bible. As we were coming along with scriptures, I kept quoting in scriptures that as it was their custom. Overcomers too have their custom, and this is one them. That, Acts 18:5, they keep on speaking, they are not afraid and they are not silent. We, overcomers, have received the Spirit of God, that we might know the things which are freely given to us of God, which things we also speak. Ephesians 4:27, neither give opportunity to the devil. What Paul is also saying here is that, devil must not trace his belongings to you. The message of godliness, upright, comes into an overcomers, and you subdue the works of the flesh as they are as arsenals, using them against overcomers. Enough is enough for the devil to dictate our prayers. Enough is enough for the devil to be the center of our prayers. Acts 16:25, about midnight Paul and Silas were praying and singing hymns to God. This is after they were stripped and beaten with rods and imprisoned. But look at midnight, praying and singing hymns to God. So their daily prayers were affected by shock waves Satan sent to them, but they were not panicking in their prayers. They continued as their daily custom of praying and praising God. You can only respond like that to such situations if it's your custom to daily contemplation, daily prayers without ceasing, and daily devotional to the Word of God. How could Paul and Silas be at peace in the middle of all this? It sounds like it is out of this world. By devoting ourselves to the Word of God and not being silent about it. As we go down with the Acts 18, Jews coordinated an attack on Paul and brought him before the judgment seat. Jews presented their case against Paul and Gallio did not entertain the case. In fact, he spitted it in their face before Paul was given a chance to say something. Because of Jews' pride and embarrassment, they devised a plan to justify their acts in verse 17. At this, the crowd seized Sosthenes the synagogue leader and beat him in front of the judgment seat. See how things unfold to overcomers, to those who keep speaking and never silent. To those who the word of God never leave their mouth, to those who speak right words relevant to the spiritual realm and with right attitude. Paul has long won the battle in spiritual realm by contemplating every day, no weapon fashioned against me shall prosper, and every tongue that rises against me in judgment I condemn. Paul continued to speak, confess the words given to him by Jesus, for I, Jesus, am with you and no one will lay a hand on you. It was personal to Paul, and so it is personal to us. We personalize the words given to us by Jesus Christ. Stay victorious every day. Written by Brother Abram Fisher.